Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. And this is another episode, or whatever you want to call it, a podcast, whatever, a video, stream, road rage. I'm on my way to work again. Oh, the fun. Anyway, I don't have to usually go in quite as early on Fridays, just a little later, so, well, what it is. Anyway, I have been asked, is this probably going to be my new format and all I do? No, this is not going to be all I do. I know I haven't released another video in a few days. I fully plan to. I am enjoying doing these. I think it's a good use of my time because I have such a long drive. So with that in mind, I'm liking these so far. I like this format where I get to, while I drive and not wasting that time just driving, I get some things off my chest. But anyway, it's been a little hard to do other videos around the house in my office and things lately. It's because my house has been a sick bed. All season, it's one person sick after another. My little Frugal was sick. He got rid of the cold. American Dream got sick, and right after that, and then before she got better, my wife got sick with strep throat, and then American Dream got another cold, and then little Frugal got sick again. Now he has influenza A, so he had a temperature of like 103, and it's just been a rotating bed of sickness. I got sick once in there, and that was late 2017. I've been buying my time knowing it's going to hit me, one of these things. I've been avoiding them like the plague. Meanwhile, during all that time, I'm playing nursemaid at home to my family, which I'm not complaining about. I love them, and I'm happy and honored to be able to do that for them. It's just, I know I'm a ticking time bomb. One of these days it's got to be mine. And so it just has been taking up most of my time, making it very hard to do videos. So with that said, this is actually quite nice. I still get to get them done. And so what I wanted to talk about today, there goes passing that guy out of the way here. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is the most recent issue of Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man per se. And just to have full disclosure, I did listen also to Douglas Ernst's review. Usually I like to formulate all my own opinions before I listen to other people. But I wasn't planning on reviewing this book. But now I'm going to talk about it because actually I don't 100% agree with Doug. Usually I do, but we have disagreements once in a while, but it's a minor disagreement. And by the way, if you haven't listened to his review, check it out. It's very well covered, as always. Great stuff you could expect from Doug. Well, anyway, here's my gripe. And it's the same gripe I've had a lot of lately, and just another twist. First, the art was passable, as always. Spider-Man usually has good art in that book. Probably one of the few redeeming qualities. The problem with that book usually is Dan Slott. Okay? Dan Slott is a big picture man. Now, granted, I don't think he's the best big picture man for Spider-Man. He's a big picture man, though, and I think he can do that for other titles possibly better. And we're going to see and find out if he ruins Iron Man. I'm just waiting to see that somehow he's going to have some MJ throw and she gets iron poisoning or some crap like that. But anyway, I digress. So Spider-Man, big picture man, once again, it's almost like he now knows it, and he acts like how do I put this? He speaks double speak. For the longest time, he said, I'm never going to leave ASM. The only way I'm going to leave Amazing Spider-Man is if they pull me off the book. And, he's going to do everything he can not to have that happen. Then it turns around and I said, well, I knew I was going to be off the book at this time. And like he knew and had it all planned. Baloney. All right, he's probably getting pulled off the book because the sales have been absolutely atrocious on Spider-Man. I go, well, they're not that bad. Actually, they are. He's a flagship character. The sales should be in competition with Batman. And they haven't even been close for a long, long time. So with that said, it's time for him to go. Heck, it's been time for him to go years ago. Very early in his stint on Spider-Man, I think he should have been gone. But anyway, I digress again. That's one of the fun things about these. They're very unscripted. And I'm sometimes focused like I am right now on passing this dude. Well, anyway. So Dan Slott is a big picture guy, as I said. His problem is he usually fails on sticking the landing. He muddies up the water so much he has a really crappy ending. And here's what happened this time. For this relaunch, what number of relaunch it is, I can't remember. Spider-Man has been relaunched so many times now. during this relaunch, it started with a story arc where he was fighting the Zodiac. And they get this big, powerful new antagonist that pretty much he pushes into this stuff. And you know later on he's going to be coming back more wise and powerful and knowing more than ever before. And so now I think Dan Slott realizes, okay, I should tie up these loose ends that I've created in the storyline because I'm going to be done very soon. Party away, everybody. Dan Slott will be off of ASM soon, which is not new news to anybody. I think everyone in the world will be partying until we find out how the next version of Spider-Man is. If it's going to be worse, oh goodness gracious. Hopefully it'll be better. Anyway, so now we have this antagonist. He's back, and he should have all this buildup and power, and it should have gravitas to it, and it doesn't. It falls completely flat. Absolutely flat. There's no impeding doom here. There's no real buildup to make you give a crap. There's just nothing there. It is a flat. He fell on his face in this landing. He did not stick this ending to this part, to this end at all. He might as well have had the guy die while sitting on the toilet. Oh, fall over, because that's about as much excitement as you get reading this book. Anyway. Now, where I disagree with Doug is Doug said that Bobby Morse, Mockingbird, one-punched, the antagonist and took him out. And that's not entirely true. And in his defense, though, he did talk about what happened and what led up to that, okay? So, it's a good title to get attention, and I don't blame him for that. That's one of my weaknesses is creating titles for videos to catch people's attention. So, once again, kudos to Doug. But Spider-Man did punch the antagonist through Big Ben the clock, and so he gave him that good hit. And then Bobby Morse, Mockingbird, finished him off. Okay, so she didn't one-punch him and take him out per se, but here is my rub with that. This book is The Amazing Spider-Man. It's not Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. It's not Mockingbird guest starring Spider-Man. It's The Amazing Spider-Man. The person to give that final knockout punch should have been Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man, not Bobby Morse. And I say that as a Mockingbird fan. I do not dislike Mockingbird. I like Mockingbird, the character, a lot. Now, granted, I'm not saying I like what Dan Slott has done with her. He writes her like crap and makes you almost absolutely hate the character. If you want to know what Mockingbird was really like, go back to the Avengers West Coast. It also changed its name to West Coast Avengers at one point. And read that series with Mockingbird. Mockingbird was a good character. The incarnation she is in now under Dan Slott's pen is a mockery of the character, as Dan Slott usually does. And here's the reason I think a lot of this is. If you notice, if people send me stuff about Dan Slott on his Twitter all the time because they know I'm blocked by Slott, like I am. I have many artists that don't, or writers that don't like me when I voice an opinion. And Dan's definitely one of them, thin-skinned, low-T man there. Dan Slott, in my opinion, is just trying to get laid. Okay, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. He's constantly virtue signaling for the women and all that. But if you look at how he writes comic books and how he then treats women in his books, he treats them like somebody that's never had relations. And I'm trying to say that in not a, crass way. He wrote things like Doc Ock and Peter Parker's body masturbating to his thoughts of MJ. I mean, really? Is that something an adult would do? Adults, after you've had relations with a lady, you tend to, unless you are a real moron, you talk different about it. You notice that. Go back to your school days, and the kids brag about, oh, I got laid, blah, blah, blah. They usually never did. Okay, that was bull crap stories trying to sound cool. The guy that was getting relations usually keeps their mouth shut about it. It's it's just that way, with a rare few couple meathead morons. Well, Dan Slott seems like that kind of guy that's never touched a boob in his life. A breast, the boobs he just hasn't had, and so he comes off as a kid in junior high that's only seen pictures and is fantasizing about it, and then he's got to brag to his fans and things that he's gotten some or whatever, or his friends. because he doesn't really probably have many friends, and I feel bad for him that way. I really do. I think that's one of the reasons he has so many issues online on social media. But just the way he writes and things is very immature in that. If you don't want to take just a guy's perspective, ask the Nerd Wonder. She has a lot of theory, I think, on this, and you know, she can give you a woman's insight on this too. So definitely, by the way, check out the Nerd Wonder's site. She's awesome. Okay. So anyway, he comes off as a guy that's never had any relations, and so he, you know, it comes off as very disingenuous. So he's constantly trying to pump up the woman in his book. But yet, if a woman disagrees with him, he will be very mean and very mean. For example, say you're not even really a woman and you're faking it as a man, which he's done to Piper. You can check with her too. And she's also now doing videos with the women's harem stream and things. So, by the way, check that out as well. So anyway, my point is this. He constantly does everything for the woman's movement in there because deep down he's trying to get laid. There's no way Bobby Moore should have had that punch finish him off. If anything, maybe Bobby should have been the one that got a good punch, knocked him out of Big Ben or whatever, and Spider-Man should have got that finishing blow. It should have been Spider-Man giving him that final knockout. The title character should be the one putting an end to it, to resolving this problem, not the guest star. Maybe once in a long, long time just to switch things up. But if you look, Spider-Man, for the last decade under Dan Slott, has had a history of everybody else is the hero in his book but Peter Parker's Spider-Man, but with rare occasion. It's always somebody else. If it's Spider-Verse, is it Peter Parker stepping up? No, it's somebody else in most cases. Somebody else is always there and always saving the day. Peter Parker's been more like a team-up book, where Spider-Man has been the sidekick. It's been dreadful. So that's my thoughts on the issue. It's a pass. You know what? Don't even bother. That's my thought. Don't bother wasting your money on this book. Wait till Dan Slott's off, and then let's hope for the best. Because really, if this is what Dan Slott offers, how do you think he's going to finish out this book? This book goes over so poorly. As I said, you could probably get more fun and adventure sitting on the toilet taking a dump. Okay? And if you bought this book there, you got your toilet paper. At least you got something out of it. All right, that's my thoughts on this book. Have you read this book? And if you did, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section. Are you looking forward to Dan Slott being off of ASM? Are you scared of the next writer who's going to be on, which rumor is Nick Spencer? Am I too hard on this book? Do you think it was actually better than I'm giving it credit for? Am I an idiot about my thoughts? Do you think Dan Slott's really a player and getting laid left and right, and I'm just a fool and don't know what I'm talking about because I'm too old and senile? All right, that's my thoughts. If you like this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you want to help me out, hit that notifications bell. That makes a big difference on who listens and sees these videos, because YouTube, I tell you, does not like to promote me because I refuse to run their ads on my videos. So I don't get near the push that a lot of other people do. So if you want to also help me financially, just go to the info bar down below, and you're going to see that Little Frugal and I have a Patreon, and we have a couple patrons in there so far. And I like to take a moment just to say thank you so much for your support. We greatly appreciate that. That money's going to first start going into helping the videos become better. I want to get a boom mic. I have a script written for a little fun little story that I want to do in video about SJWs. And I don't know, I might try to film it without the boom mic, but it's going to be pretty tough to do, but I'm going to give it a go, I think. But a boom mic would have made that great, and so I'll be able to do more stuff like that in the future with a little bit better audio, and then it's going to continue moving on to make things better. I need better lighting. I've currently bought some shop lights to make it cheap, and I'm going to like throw a white sheet or some kind of material over the top to soften it up, so I can brighten it up and have the best of both worlds, because I have green screen ability and a green screen. I just don't have good enough lighting to really do it. So I have some other things planned that I think I could use to make my other videos a lot better, especially the ones I take extra time on. You know, ones that I sit down, script a little bit out, really plan to do a lot of editing and things like that. And the Patreon support is really helping with that. So Little Frugal and I, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for that help. All right, and until next time, keep it frugal.